Our top focus, Saudi Arabia is demanding the US to stop the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz and return to the negotiating table. There are fears that US President Donald Trump's move could lead Iran to disrupt other routes. Saudi Arabia has suffered massive losses, not just militarily but also economically, during the course of this war. Saudi Arabia claims its critical infrastructure has been impacted in the Iran strikes on US bases. According to the Saudi authorities, the strikes collectively slashed Saudi Arabia's oil output by approximately 600,000 to 700,000 barrels per day. The country has suffered financial losses over $10 billion, reportedly. In fact, the industrial and energy hubs have been the worst hit in Iran war, reportedly, a claim that Tehran has outrightly denied. Iran claims it was only retaliating to US strikes in the region. On the 7th of April, Iran attacked Saudi Arabia's petrochemical complex, the al-Jubail petrochemical complex. It is the heart of the kingdom's downstream energy sector and home to multi-billion-dollar joint ventures. And on the 28th of March, an Iranian missile attack injured at least 10 US service members and damaged several US refueling aircraft at the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, reportedly. A week ago, on the 19th of March, the oil giant Saudi Aramco's Samref refinery in the Red Sea port of Yanbu was targeted in an aerial attack. However, there were reports of minimal impact. The stakes are high for Saudi Arabia, the largest and most influential economy in the Gulf region. Riyadh has warned Washington that US blockade might prompt the Houthis to block the Bab al-Mandeb Strait in retaliation. The strait links the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden in the northern Indian Ocean and is an important stop on the Saudi oil export route. In fact, a report by Wall Street Journal saying the Houthis have assured Saudi Arabia that they will not attack its territory or vessels. However, Saudi officials believe that the situation remains unstable. They do not rule out the possibility that the Houthis may start charging for passage through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. Hormuz disruptions have triggered an unprecedented supply chain shock. At the center of the risk are several major companies that operate outside the US and are dependent on the Strait of Hormuz. Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil exporter, heavily relies on Hormuz reportedly to move crude and LNG to global markets. Over $1 trillion is at stake for Saudi Aramco after the Iran war. In fact, among others are PetroChina and Shell that are highly exposed to the disruptions reportedly. As the standoff between the US and Iran intensifies in a way, Pakistan has been racing to bring both the sides together for more talks. It has proposed hosting a second round of talks between the two sides. And according to reports, the Pakistan Prime Minister and the Army Chief are set to visit Saudi Arabia in the coming days. They are set to discuss the way forward as far as the fragile Iran truce is concerned and also revise their strategic mutual defense agreement. There are reports of Pakistan and Saudi Arabia following up with China. But Trump's window for a face-saving exit perhaps may be closing soon. Escalation is only putting him in a situation where negotiating might be the only option. However, Iran's growing leverage could also prevent an easy off-ramp in a way.